Here's the scene. Friday night. 80 people in a converted warehouse space downtown Boise. Live band playing that Johnny Cash Cover Your Buddy always requests. There's a banner, 10 years. Your company. Your dream. You built this from a folding table in your garage, and now 80 people showed up to celebrate it with you. You're mid-toast. Glass raised. You're saying something about the early days, about the first client who took a chance on you. And the room is laughing because you tell it the way only you can, self-deprecating, warm, the kind of guy who makes everyone in the room feel like they're the one he came to see. Then your phone buzzes. You glance down. Bank alert. $47,000. Transferred to an account you've never seen in your life. You look up. Your wife is across the room. Champagne in one hand. Phone tucked behind her back. She catches your eye and smiles. That wide, easy smile she saves for crowds. That was my party. My wife. My money. My name is Wesley Abernathy. And the woman smiling at me across that room had been robbing me for 6 months. I don't finish the toast. Nobody notices. That's the thing about being the charmer. You learn to land a joke while your chest is caving in. I raise my glass, say something about the next 10 years, and the room cheers. My business partner claps me on the back. The band kicks in, and I walk to the bar like a man who just needs another drink, not a man who just watched $47,000 disappear. Gail finds me 20 minutes later. She slides her arm through mine, leans against my shoulder. Great speech, babe. Thanks. You okay? You look distracted. Just tired. Long week. She kisses my cheek. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. She doesn't check it, not in front of me, anyway. I've owned Abernathy IT Solutions for a decade. 40 employees. We do consulting for hospitals, law firms, the kind of places where one server crash means someone doesn't get their medication on time. I'm not flashy about money. I drive a 10-year-old truck. We're the same 3 jackets in rotation. But we're comfortable. More than comfortable. Gail manages the front office at a real estate firm across town. She's good at it. Organized, sharp, never misses a detail. That's what made her good at what she was doing to me, too. She knew exactly where to cut because she understood the whole structure. We've been married 14 years. 2 kids. I read them bedtime stories most nights, and lately I fall asleep in their room more often than I make it back to ours. If you asked me when the master bedroom stopped feeling like mine, I couldn't tell you. It happened the way weather changes in Idaho, slowly, then all at once, and by the time you notice, the season's already turned. But that night, standing at the bar with her arm in mine and $47,000 in the wind, I stopped thinking about seasons. Saturday morning. Kids are at my mother's. Gail's at spin class, or wherever Gail goes when she tells me spin class. I sit at the home office desk and pull up the business account. The transfer is real, routed to an entity I've never heard of. I write down the account number on a post-it, stick it in my wallet, and close the laptop. Here's where it gets strange. I'm clearing a paper jam in the printer Monday evening, because even the IT guy's printer jams. Life has a sense of humor, and a USB drive falls out of the tray. Black. No label. Not mine. I plug it in. 6 months of bank transfers. Every one routed to an LLC called Lathrop Abernathy Holdings. The name hits like a fist. Lathrop. Faye Lathrop. A name I haven't said out loud in 15 years. Faye was, there's no clean way to say this, she was someone before Gail. We dated in our 20s, brief, electric, the kind of thing that burns too hot to last. She became a financial planner. Moved to Phoenix. Disappeared from my life the way people do. 6 months ago, she reappeared. Instagram. A like on an old photo. Then a comment. Then a DM to Gail, not me. To Gail. Hey girl, I'm back in Boise. We should connect. And the transfers total $180,000. I sit there looking at the screen. The spreadsheet is meticulous. Dates, amounts, routing numbers. Gail's been approving them through shared login credentials she copied months ago, disguising them as vendor payments to a company that doesn't exist. My hands aren't shaking. That surprises me. I thought this was the kind of moment where your hands shake. Instead, I feel something drain out through the bottoms of my feet, like the floor just tilted and everything liquid in me found the lowest point and pulled there. I copy the USB, put the original back in the printer tray, and I call Renata Pickett. Renata has been my friend since college. She runs a catering company. She's at every event I throw, and she has the kind of eyes that see things other people choose not to. She picks up on the second ring. Wes, what's wrong? What makes you think something's wrong? You're calling me at 10 on a Monday. You never call. You text bad jokes. I tell her about the USB. She's quiet for a long time. Then she says something I'm not ready for. Wes, I need to tell you something. Last month, when you went to Portland for the conference, I saw Gail. She was home with the kids. She was at Bardenay. Spin class at 6. Dinner with Faye at 8. Cocktails after. She looked like a different person. Laughing. Glowing. I almost didn't recognize her. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought she was just having a good time. But now you're telling me about this money, and I'm thinking, she's a different person when you're not around. And not in a sad way. In a relieved way. That lands somewhere between my ribs. Not because it's new information. Because I already knew. I just needed someone else to say it. Tuesday morning. I'm at the coffee shop on Capitol Boulevard, the one where the barista, Maddie, remembers my order. Double Americano, oat milk. She smiles when I walk in, asks about the party. And I catch myself thinking, she's the only woman who seems glad to see me. Not because I want anything from Maddie. Because that recognition, that simple, uncomplicated warmth, has become the only kind I get. I call Lionel Edmonds that afternoon. Quiet attorney. Old school. The kind who wears suspenders unironically and keeps a chess set on his desk. I hand him the USB copy and the post-it from my wallet. How fast can you pull the LLC records? Give me a week. You have 4 days. Thursday. Boise Rodeo Grounds. It's the fall kickoff event, and I know everybody here. That's not bragging. That's just 14 years of buying rounds, remembering birthdays, showing up. The Abernathy name means something at these grounds. I rebuilt their ticketing system for free 3 years ago. The announcer calls me out by name from the booth. I'm walking back to our seats when I see Gail. She's standing by the fence rail with Felix Inman, her coworker, this polished guy who sells commercial real estate and always smells like he just walked through a department store. She's leaning into him, laughing, her hand on his arm, right in front of my friends, right in front of people who've known me for a decade. My buddy Carl leans over. You good, Wes? I watch them for another second. Felix says something and Gail tips her head back laughing, and I feel this pull, this instinct to walk over, make a joke, insert myself, compete. And then the thought arrives like a cold glass of water. Why am I auditioning for my own wife? I turn to Carl. I'm great. You want another beer? That night, Gail comes home from the rodeo like nothing happened. Shoes off at the door, hair still smelling like livestock and funnel cake. She finds me in the kitchen making the kids' lunches for Monday. That was fun tonight, she says. She opens the fridge, grabs a sparkling water. We should go to more stuff like that. We were at the same event, Gail. I know. I'm saying it was nice. Which part? She turns. Studies me. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just asking which part was nice. She doesn't answer. She walks to the living room, turns on the TV, and that's the end of the conversation. The house settles into the silence we've been living in for months. Not angry silence. Just the sound of two people who ran out of things to pretend about. The next morning, I go through the company books. Properly this time, line by line. The transfers are disguised as vendor payments to something called Lathrop Consulting Group, a shell company with a P.O. box in Nampa and no website. No employees, no reviews. Nothing. Gail had been approving them using the shared login she copied from my laptop months ago, same credentials I use for payroll, except she found them in a password manager I thought was locked. 14 payments. 6 months. All between $7,000 and $47,000, small enough to avoid the fraud flags our accountant would catch, large enough to drain us if nobody looked. I sit back in the chair. Here's the thing about being the charmer. You spend so much energy making sure everyone around you feels seen that you forget to look at the person closest to you. You assume the best, because assuming the worst feels like a betrayal of everything you've built. But sometimes the betrayal already happened, and you were just the last one to stop clapping. The next 2 weeks move like water finding its level. Everything settles into a shape I don't recognize. Saturday. Gail is on the couch when I get home from the office. TV on, blanket pulled up, that flat expression she wears like armor. I ask if she wants to take the kids to the park. I'm exhausted, Wes. You sure? It's nice out. I said I'm tired. This is the Gail I live with. Depleted. Drained. Too tired to move. But Renata's voice is in my head, laughing, glowing, like a different person, and I think she's not tired. She's tired of me. Monday evening. Neighborhood barbecue at the Hendersons. I'm flipping burgers, because of course I am. That's what I do. I show up and I flip the burgers, when Gail walks over with Felix. Again, in front of everyone. She leans against the fence, drink in hand, and Felix is telling some story about a property deal. I walk over with a plate. Burger. She looks at me, looks at the plate, then says, loud enough for the whole patio to hear, "Oh, here comes the IT guy to fix something." The patio goes quiet. Not angry quiet. Embarrassed quiet. The kind of silence where people suddenly find something interesting on their phones. I set the plate down, walk to my truck, sit there for a minute with the engine off. Not sad, not angry, just clear. The way a window gets clear after you wipe it. You realize how dirty it was only after you can see through it. Next morning, Gail makes pancakes. The whole spread, blueberries, real maple syrup, the cast iron skillet she hasn't touched in months. She's humming. Actually humming. The kids come downstairs and their eyes go wide. Mommy made pancakes. I sit down. She puts a plate in front of me, touches my shoulder, lets her hand linger. I was thinking, she says, pouring coffee. Maybe we could do a family trip. Take the kids to McCall for the weekend. Rent one of those cabins by the lake. Since when do you want to go to McCall? Since now. I think we need it. All of us. She looks at me with those big, earnest eyes, and I want to believe it so badly that my chest aches. This is the Gail from the early years, the one who used to surprise me with road trips, who kept a list of state parks she wanted to visit, who fell asleep in the passenger seat with her bare feet on the dashboard. I'll check dates, I say. She smiles. Warm. Open. The kind of smile that makes you think maybe you imagined the last 6 months. But that afternoon, I checked the company account again. Another transfer went through Thursday while we were at the rodeo. 19,000. Vendor, Lathrop Consulting Group. She was making pancakes and planning lake trips while the money was still moving. The sweetness wasn't a return, it was a screen. Gail scrolls Instagram on the couch that night. She stops on a colleague's anniversary post, private island, drone shot, the whole production. Then she looks over at me in the workshop doorway, sawdust on my jeans, sanding a board that doesn't need sanding. She doesn't say anything. Her silence says everything. Wednesday. I come home and the kids are quiet at breakfast. My daughter, she's 8, looks at me with those big, careful eyes. Daddy, are we poor now? What? No, sweetheart. Why would you think that? Mommy said you might have to sell the house. I put my fork down. Take a breath. Nobody's selling the house. You're not going anywhere. She nods, goes back to her cereal, and I grip the edge of the counter so hard my knuckles turn white, because Gail is using our kids, our actual children, as leverage in a game I didn't know we were playing. That night I find the texts. Gail's iPad is on the kitchen counter, open to messages with Faye. I don't go looking. The screen just lights up. Gail, how much more do we need? Faye, another 60K and you're free. Gail, he won't even notice. He never checks. He won't even notice. He never checks. I screenshot it, add it to the folder, and I sleep in the kids' room again, on the floor next to my daughter's bed, listening to her breathe. Thursday. Gail corners me in the hallway before I leave for work. She's in her robe, arms crossed, that tight expression that means she's been rehearsing this. We need to talk about us. Okay, you've been pulling away for weeks. You barely look at me. You sleep in the kids' room. What's going on with you? I'm processing some things. Processing what? You won't talk to me, you won't touch me. You just disappear into that workshop and sand boards like a crazy person. You know what people say when their husband acts like this? They say he's the one with something to hide. I look at her, long and steady. You want to talk about hiding things, Gail? Something flickers in her eyes. Just a flash, fast enough that if you blinked you'd miss it. Fear. Then she covers it. What is that supposed to mean? It means I'm asking if you want to talk about hiding things. Because I'm happy to have that conversation whenever you're ready. She stares at me. 10 seconds. 20. Then she shakes her head. You're impossible. She walks into the bedroom and closes the door. And I think she had a chance right there. She could have told me. She could have sat down and said, Wes, I've been doing something terrible and I don't know how to stop. And I would have listened. I'm the charmer. Listening is what I do. But she chose the door. She always chooses the door. Friday. Lionel calls. I go to his office. He has the LLC records spread across his desk, the chess set pushed to one corner. I pulled everything on Lathrop Abernathy Holdings, he says. He slides a printout across the desk. The account your wife thinks holds $180,000. Yeah, it has $31,000. I stare at him. Where's the rest? Faye Lathrop's personal accounts. 3 of them. One is funding a condo purchase in Scottsdale. The room tilts. Not the way it tilted at the party, sideways, disorienting. This time it tilts and clicks into place, like a puzzle piece I've been holding upside down. So Gail thinks she's building an exit fund. Correct. And Faye's been skimming from it. From the day the LLC was formed. Gail stole from me to give to a woman who's stealing from her. Lionel folds his hands. That's a fair summary. Stay with me here. Because this is the part that changes everything. Faye didn't reconnect with Gail out of nostalgia. She didn't come back to Boise because she missed the mountains. She came back because she knew what I'd built. We've been in the Idaho Business Review twice. It's not hard to find. She positioned herself as Gail's ally, the sympathetic friend who understood what it's like to feel overlooked. You deserve to protect yourself, Gail. Let me set up something just for you. And every dollar Gail funneled out of our accounts, Faye skimmed her cut, then a little more, then a lot more. Gail was the knife. Faye was the hand holding it. My wife thought she was building a lifeboat. She was building someone else's beach house. Workshop. Late. I'm sanding a board, not building anything, just sanding. The rhythm of it, the sound, the dust. The little TV in the corner is showing tornado aftermath from the Midwest, those aerial shots of flattened neighborhoods. I mute it. In the silence, I think. I keep noticing when she lights up without me. But I light up without her too. I've been blaming her for checking out, but we both checked out. The difference is I didn't rob the register on my way to the door. Sawdust on my face. I don't wipe it off. I just keep sanding. The next week, Gail tries. That's the part that almost gets me. She comes to the workshop doorway, leans against the frame. Hair down. That perfume she used to wear on date nights. I was thinking we could do dinner Saturday. Just us. Like we used to. Sure. That Italian place on 8th. Sure. She searches my face. Looking for the old Wesley, the one who'd light up, make it a whole event, call the restaurant, and request the corner booth. But that Wesley is standing behind soundproof glass, and the one she's talking to just says, sure. You're different lately, she says. Am I? Distant. Cold. I'm being honest. There's a difference. Saturday dinner. She wears the blue dress. Orders the wine I like. Tells a story about her co-worker's kid that she knows will make me laugh. And it does. I laugh. Because it's genuinely funny. And for 45 seconds I forget what's on the USB drive. Her hand finds mine across the table. I miss this, she says. And her eyes are wet. Genuinely wet. Not performing. Or if she is, she's better at it than I ever gave her credit for. I miss it too, I say. And I mean it. That's the thing nobody tells you about betrayal. Missing someone who's sitting right in front of you. We drive home. She leans her head on my shoulder at a red light. On the radio, someone is talking about Clemson's basketball run, and it feels so normal it makes my teeth hurt. Monday. Gail's on the phone in the laundry room. I come in through the garage and hear her voice before she hears my footsteps. I can't keep doing this, Faye. He's getting suspicious. Pause. I know. But what if he finds she sees me? Stops. Smiles. Hey, babe. Just catching up with Faye? I heard. She says hi. I bet she does. That dinner. That hand across the table. Those wet eyes. All of it evaporates like water on a hot skillet. And I realize I wasn't fooled. I wanted to be fooled. There's a difference, but the result is the same. You end up right back where you started, just more tired. I go back to Lionel. This time I bring everything. The screenshots, the texts, the transfer records, the LLC trail showing Faye's skimming. He looks at it for an hour, then looks at me. What do you want to do, Wesley? I want to throw a party. He raises an eyebrow. A party? The company's 10-year anniversary. We never properly celebrated. The first one got interrupted. And at this party? Dessert. I spend 2 weeks planning. Same caterer from the office party. Same playlist. I tell Gail it's the official company celebration. The first one was just the casual kickoff. This is the real thing. She buys it. She even buys a new dress. I invite everyone. My friends. My clients. The people from the rodeo grounds. Carl and his wife. The Hendersons. Renata handles the catering because she's Renata and she knows exactly what I'm doing without me saying a word. You sure about this? she asks, arranging appetizers on the kitchen island. I've been sure for a while. You know there's no taking this back. That's the point. The house fills up. Saturday evening, golden hour light through the windows. Gail is in her element, charming, attentive, the perfect hostess. She's telling a story about the company's early days, one I've told 100 times, and she's telling it well. For a moment, I see the woman I married, the one who used to stay up with me past midnight, stuffing envelopes for the first client mailing, laughing at how ridiculous our lives were about to become. Dinner is perfect. The band plays. People dance in the living room. Gail catches my eye from across the room. Same scene as the first party, same smile, and she raises her glass. Dessert. I stand up, tap my glass. The room quiets. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. 10 years. Some of you were at the very first barbecue in my garage, back when the office was a card table and the staff was me in sweatpants. Laughter. This company exists because of the people in this room. People who believed in me. People I trust. I pause. Look at Gail. Speaking of trust, I walk to her end of the table, slide a folder in front of her. Manila. Thick. What's this? She asks, still smiling, still in hostess mode. Open it. She opens it. The first page is a transfer receipt. Then another. Then the LLC formation documents, Lathrop Abernathy Holdings. Then Faye's personal account statements, the skimming trail, every dollar. Then the custody filing. The color leaves her face in stages, like watching a sunset in reverse. Wes, keep going. There's more. She grabs her phone, dials Faye. It rings once, then disconnected. She tries again. Same thing. She opens the banking app, finds the LLC account. Balance, $31,247. Where? Her voice is barely there. Where's the rest? Scottsdale. Faye's buying a condo. With your exit fund. Well, my money, your exit fund, her condo. Funny how that works. The room is silent. Not embarrassed silent like the barbecue. Cathedral silent. The kind you feel in your chest. You took from me, I say. She took from you. And now everyone in this room. Every person who's known me for 10 years, who you smiled at tonight, who you charmed with my stories, they know. Gail looks around the room. At Carl. At the Hendersons. At Renata, who doesn't look away. At clients who write the checks that funded the life she was dismantling. You said I'd never notice. My voice is steady, calm as a man who's been ready for months. You said I never check. You were wrong about both. She stands up. Chair scrapes the floor. Her hand is shaking, the phone still showing that balance. 31,000 out of 180. I was trying to protect myself. You were trying to leave. And you trusted the wrong person to help you do it. The woman you handed my money to was running the same play on you that you were running on me. She stares at me. And for the first time in maybe years, I see her. Not the hostess. Not the tired woman on the couch. Not the one laughing with Felix at the rodeo. Just Gail. Raw and frightened and realizing that the charmer, the guy who buys rounds and remembers birthdays and never raises his voice, was watching the whole time. The whole town sees it before she understands what happened. Renata walks me to my truck afterward. The house behind us is emptying out, guests filing past like people leaving a service. You okay? I don't know yet. She squeezes my arm. Doesn't say anything else. Some people know when words are just noise. I drive out past the edge of Boise, out to my parents' old house. Nobody's lived there in years. The lawn's overgrown. The mailbox is crooked, but the porch light is on. Still on a timer. 7 p.m. every night, same as when my dad said it 20 years ago. I sit on the steps. Phone shows 14 missed calls from Gail. I set it face down on the wood. The light clicks on right on schedule. Steady. Reliable. Still working after all these years. Some things just keep working when you stop messing with them. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.